WKYT Studios in Lexington, this is Kentucky Newsmakers with Bill Bryant.
Good morning from WKYT News and welcome in. Hope your weekend is going well. Later, Republican candidate for governor Will T. Scott will be here as he works to stand out in a four-candidate field in next month's primary. Gubernatorial candidate Will T. Scott in just a little bit. But first, Lexington Mayor Jim Gray is with us. This week, the mayor unveiled a $324 million city budget that includes a projected surplus for the third year in a row. There is money in the spending plan for raises for most city employees. Lexington will also hire 10 additional police officers and equip the force with body cameras. The mayor also wants money to study the future of the government center and to make a major investment in renovating the old courthouse, as well as developing Town Branch. There are also more money in there for parks and some other things. Mayor Gray, good enough to share his proposal with us. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
You bet, Bill. Glad to be here.
First of all, does it come as a surprise to you that there is a surplus for a third year in a row? What does that say about Lexington's economy?
Well, what that says, Bill, is Lexington's economy, we're on the right track. And it says that the reforms that we instituted 4 years ago, 3 and 4 years ago, have actually come around. And that's just like a good business. What I see and look at it today is that the city has turned a corner. We're actually making what in the private sector you'd say that you're in the black, you're making a profit. Now we're investing those profits, and that's what's important, making sound investments. I used to say routinely that in a good business there are times when you have to save money to make money, and there are times when you have to spend money to make money, when you have to make investments. And that's investments in new plant and equipment, and that's exactly what we're doing. $2.5 million for new police vehicles, for example, and $2.5 million for new fire equipment, among other things.
Mayor, it's probably fair to ask, some would say, though, if there is a surplus, why not give the money back to taxpayers?
Well, that's a good question. When you have pent-up demands, when you have demands that have been bottled up on you and you haven't made these investments, the appropriate thing to do in any good business is to make those investments, is to make the investments that do the repairs on the buildings that you own, for example. And we've got a lot of that in our city. We've got investments that we're making in our infrastructure, in our storm and water, in our storm and sanitary sewer systems. So any good business is going to focus on what it does best. It's going to focus on its brand, and it's going to focus on ensuring that its infrastructure is in good shape so that it can continue into the future.
A budget always reflects the priorities of those who put it together. What is your highest priority in your spending plan?
Well, basic services is always the highest priority, and public safety is always our highest priority, and that's why we're making investments in public safety. I just mentioned $2.5 million in new police vehicles, body cameras, the startup phase, actually testing the body camera model. We're also making investments in new fire equipment. We're making investments in 10 new police officers. So these basic services are what our first priority always is, and then we take on other projects that we need to.
The 10 additional officers, is that additions to the force that will be added to the numbers and not just simply take care of some who are retiring or stepping away?
That's exactly right. Yes, it will be those who are added to the force. We have what is established is called our authorized strength. And so what we're doing is we're building up, routinely we work to build up and to meet that authorized strength, and that's what we'll be doing this year as well.
All right, now let's talk about these investments you speak of. There is significant money to renovate the old courthouse that was built in 1899. It's been closed, it has problems, asbestos is one of those, and has had major issues for several years. You've got $22 million in the budget for starting in on that. Is there a plan for what to do with the old courthouse?
Well, we've had some extraordinarily competent consultants to work with us. Those who've done renovation and restoration projects, especially of iconic old facilities like this one, that represent a big piece of our history. We've had those folks work with us, and they've identified several models for utilizing the space, event spaces, for example. It's an iconic building. You go to a website today, Bill, and you're going to see that building on a website that talks about the city. Not a city website, but one that speaks about our city's tourism, for example. So it really represents our front door. And what I've learned over time is that when you preserve your history, you're going to preserve your future. You're going to encourage your future and future opportunities. So this represents so much of our history that we really have nothing more than a good choice to actually restore it and put it in proper working order.
And that $22 million just really gets you started, right?
Well, that $22 million will be leveraged with tax credits that are going to be offered through the private sector. So it really amounts to a public and private sector, a public-private partnership over the term of the project. You
mentioned in your budget and put some money into study the government center, what to do next, what to do with City Hall. I know the way it didn't weather winter very well, and that just kind of drew attention to some of the problems, right? Well,
we had a show where you brought me on. You and Rebecca had me on when we had a fire in the garage. Electrical source was the fire. So the building's really being held together. I've said for the 8 years now that I've been either on the city council or mayor, I've said that the building's being held together with baling wire and duct tape. And that's regrettable because it's an historic building just like the old courthouse is. It defines our city's downtown. It was originally designed as a hotel. And in fact, when the city moved into it 30 years ago, it moved into it as temporary quarters. So it's never been really designed to be an office building. It wasn't designed to be an office building. And it would be appropriate for it to be converted back to a use, for example, the hotel or apartments, residential use. And it'd be appropriate for the city then to have what amounts to a more modern offices. I know from being in business that if you don't put your employees in a working environment that is that's efficient, then you're going to get the kind of results that are less than efficient. So this is the appropriate thing for us to do. It's today costing us almost three times to maintain what it would cost for a new modern office facility.
So if you are talking about keeping that building as something,
yes,
then obviously you're looking at going somewhere else. Are the options open in the downtown area for locating City Hall?
The options are open. There could be existing facilities, for example, but you have to remember that through history, Bill, our institutions have represented our city, and a city hall or a government center will represent your city. And that's what then those who are the citizens of your city then learn to respect that. And I would never talk about anything extravagant. That's not what we should properly do. But having efficient offices and having something that looks good, that people can be proud of, is important.
You can't see any way that the old courthouse could play that role, right?
Well, some features of the old, some of the spaces in the old courthouse may be appropriate for some city uses. Today, our city's employees are distributed over many buildings actually in the city. Our police department is in a separate facility. Our clerk's office is in a separate facility. Our water quality offices are in facilities. Our streets and roads are in facilities out on Leestown Road. So there's a distribution of employees throughout the city, and that can be very actually efficient. But the City Hall or the government center today that's in the old Lafayette Hotel is the building that's really just the only way to describe it is it's falling apart on us as we sit there.
How far does the money that you allocate take the town branch project?
Well, the town branch project is, of course, an aspirational project, but let's talk about what it really represents. It represents an equivalent of a central park for a city that doesn't have it today, and it represents our city was originally conceived almost 240 years ago, and over the period of history up until the 1830s, it was conceived as a garden city. And that's in many respects why we have such extraordinary landscape around us, our horse farms, our agricultural farms. Well, bringing some of that into the city's core is what the town branch really is all about, the town branch commons, the town branch park. And it represents a linear park along the path of the town branch, which is today buried underground in a couple of culverts. So we have a real extraordinary opportunity. This has been done in other cities around the country and the world. But what it then does is it celebrates our history. The town branch was the water source around which our city was settled 240 years ago. So it allows us to celebrate that history, and also to educate our kids, our children, about the ecological history as well as the human history of our city.
You've spoken about the importance of the growing area of heritage tourism, the heritage economy, as it's now called. And you think Lexington could play a major role in that?
Well, this project has been described by Dan Jones, who is the founder of 21st Century Parks in Louisville, which is a 7,000-acre park on the perimeter now of Louisville. An extraordinary, the largest parks project in the country underway. And Dan, who is the founder of the 21st Century Parks and who's been a consultant with us on Town Branch, has described this as a generationally transformative project and perhaps the best city park project in the nation that's being imagined today.
This all has to be hashed out by the City Council. Do you think your budget will be adopted largely as it is, or are you already hearing from council members who say, you know, there should have been different priorities, there should be more money for this, less for that?
Well, I'm very optimistic about the project, about our budget this time. I'm always optimistic about a budget, but especially this time, there's been a collaboration, new council members, our current and existing council members, those who have renewed terms and those who have new terms have been they've participated in the building of this budget, and we'll be having a budget retreat with them shortly. They'll be having their own budget retreat, and there's a couple of months or longer during which time that the council can actually review the budget before the budget's confirmed. There
have been some ownership changes in the distillery district, and you know, we saw a document that said that they had applied to dissolve some of that district. What does that mean? Well,
what that means is that the tax incremental financing model that was approved several years ago, that particular TIF is going to be being dissolved so that a new model and a new effort to support that district that's more appropriate can be then created. Don't know whether that would be a TIF, a tax incremental financing model, or whether it would be in other ways, but it represents today another extraordinary opportunity for the city, and it fits right into what you were just describing, Bill, this notion of the heritage economy, the heritage tourism. We already have 5 local brew pubs in town where they're brewing the beer, and this is someone said that, you know, Lexington's on the path of an Asheville, North Carolina. Other places where the heritage of the place and the culture of the place is what we're selling. And we're not just marketing and selling that to tourists, but we're also marketing and selling that to our own people. We're encouraging people, you know, to enjoy the place where you live and enjoy all that we can offer.
Lexington Mayor Jim Gray, thank you very much for coming in. Our conversation mostly confined to the budget today. We'll talk about some broader issues when we have you back in the summer. Thanks for coming. And we're coming back on WKYT's Kentucky Newsmakers in a moment. Republican candidate for governor Will T. Scott with us next. Welcome back to Kentucky Newsmakers on WKYT. Kentucky Republicans face a 4-way contest for their party's nomination for governor. Former Louisville Councilmember Hal Heiner, Louisville businessman Matt Bevin, State Agriculture Commissioner James Comer, and today's guest, former State Supreme Court Justice Will T. Scott. Justice Scott left Kentucky's highest court, saying he wanted to be free to speak out and make a difference. Although not yet running any TV ads, he is traveling the state extensively. He has been taking positions on lots of issues, including the state Medicaid expansion and Connect. Retired Justice and candidate for governor Will T. Scott joining us this morning. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Hey, Bill, I'm tickled to be here among the Kentuckians here that watch this show. Hey, they're great people.
Well, we appreciate you coming. First of all, why did you give up what some would say was a relatively safe seat, the pinnacle of justice, the Kentucky Supreme Court, to enter a multi-candidate field for the Republican nomination for governor?
Well, Kentucky's been real good to me, Bill, and I serve. I mean, that's my life's mission on earth. And I have to keep serving until, you know, I'm not wanted or my ideas are no longer relevant. So I'm here to serve, and, you know, I just stepped down after 10 years on the Kentucky Supreme Court. I was if you rated me, you would have to say I was very successful in shifting the opinions of the court towards solutions that really work for Kentucky based upon legal precedents, you know, under our previous Supreme Courts. But I'm 67 years old. I still parachute jump.
Right.
I still snow ski with my kids. I still raise and train my bird dogs and hunt with them. But I've got a good 8 to 10, I hope 12, maybe 15 years left. And I know the problems in Kentucky, and I'm carrying the solutions for them. I'm not guided by dogma. I don't take a bit and bridle from the leadership of my party very well. And I have solutions, and I come out here and I'm free. I'm the only free candidate really in this race. And I'm not criticizing any of my opponents because they are really good people. But I've got 3 people I'm running against that want to be governor. There's one person, Will T., who just wants to fix the problems and make the sun shine a little bit brighter in Kentucky tomorrow.
You have staked out some intriguing positions. All the Republican candidates have expressed some concern about the Medicaid expansion and the Connect program here in the state. But you say that you would really want to change things there.
Well, I want to take down Connect. That'll be Connect. That'll be the
take
one.
It down. Do
take
away
it
with
down.
It.
Now, but let me point something out. Steve Beshear has done as good a job as he can do with Connect, and they have run it extensively for the last 2 years. And the last budget information I had, now I don't have this year's, and I have talked to Steve about this, it was basically $40 million a year. It's the size of Allison Grimes, the Secretary of State's office, with 30 people. She runs hers on $3.4 million. Connect, of course, has outside contractors, but that expense is $40. And the whole purpose of Obamacare was to take care of the uninsured population of America, and Connect was to take care of the uninsured population in Kentucky. And we've run it for 2 years extensively, and we've still got 12% of the people are uninsured, and they're not going to buy insurance. So it's time to take down Connect, and I'll give Washington, D.C. the thumb drive and put it on their website. And then when we go there, they can pop up states, KY, we have our same information, and it will save Kentucky that money. Now, having said that, everybody has to understand that whether or not we keep Obamacare or we change Obamacare or we move over to the Patient Care Act that Senators Upton, Burr, and I think Hatch are advocating is up to Washington, D.C. The governor of Kentucky runs a locomotive, and we say we've got 100 guns behind us. Whoever's leading that locomotive has to see what he's loaded with, or she. And then, you know, if it's soybeans and corn, we're not driving that train to Iowa because that's where they grow it. We got to take it somewhere else. So Washington, D.C. is going to really have a lot of effect on where we go and what we do.
As you know, that the Medicaid expansion that Governor Beshear is quite proud of lowered the threshold at which people could qualify for the health insurance from Medicaid. You say that you would not change that, or you? I
can't change that. I mean, that's already been done. When Steve did that and the federal government started putting money in that, you can't change the expansion. And what you're talking about is the federal poverty level up to 138%. Okay, and above that, I mean, the federal government's paying 100% anyway up through 19, and then we have to pick up 10%. Those things are managed in Washington, D.C. We can't change those. What I'm talking about is Connect. Connect will come down and we'll go up to their website. If Obamacare stays, and I don't think it will, without amendments and changes, but if it stays, I mean, we have to follow it. Once that was done, you can't change it. So I mean, if I drive this train, I got to look back and see what I'm loaded with.
You made reference earlier to your jump earlier in the campaign. You got a lot of attention for that. And you said that day that your point was that Kentucky owes its veterans more respect and they need to be a higher priority for the Commonwealth.
Bill, we have slept safe in our beds here in America at night for the last 25 years. Only because these men and women were standing guard on foreign shores or fighting on foreign shores. They are now going through a reduction in force, which means we're going to have about 700 and some thousand young men and women who are coming out of the armed services that guarded us. They're not going to have a job. So my primary point was, number one, to bring the press there. And by the way, I parachute. I mean, I'm qualified at it, and I do it. So it wasn't like, well, Will T did this as a stunt. I mean, I jumped there the last time in October. But I wanted everybody there so I could talk about these young men and women that kept us safe. It's our job, and my administration will be veteran friendly. We will keep the preferences, if not increase it. And I really also want to give every veteran in this state a $5,000 additional exemption to be applied towards the value of their home for their tax purposes or their car. And that will be lifetime. Every year they get that $5,000. It's just a way of saying thank you. And I think we owe it to them.
You've been around state government, having served on the state Supreme Court now. You've seen Frankfort operate. Do you believe there is significant waste in state government that would be enough to make a difference if it's identified?
Yeah. We, from top to bottom in Kentucky, we deliver our services based on 564 people per each 10,000 of population, and we have 4.4 million people in Kentucky. Well, Nevada does it on 418, but they're 3.8 million people, so you might want to look at Arizona, where they do theirs on 434 per each 10,000. Well, you might not like Arizona, 6.8 million people. But then when you look at California at 39 million people and Florida at 20 million people, you got to say, well, yeah, they deliver great services. Well, how many people per 10,000 of their population they use? They use 464. We use 564. So, yeah, we've got some room to grow a smaller government without laying anybody off. We can do it by attrition, retirement, retraining, reassignment, and not hurt anybody. And yes, we can grow a smaller government, but that's not going to solve the big budget items. It's going to take 4 to 6 to 8 years to do that. You're going to have to find other sources of income now to really tackle the real problems that are really hurting Kentucky.
What's the source of income? Raise taxes?
Gaming. Well, I'm not. If Kentucky wants to raise taxes, they can, and I won't veto it. But I can guarantee you I will not sign that bill. If Kentucky wants to borrow $8.3 billion to solve to try to solve half of the teachers' pension problems, I won't veto it. They can. We have to pay the 20-year bonds, and they're going to lose some money in the stock market. I'll tell them it's wrong and it's dumb, but I won't veto it if that's what they want to do. What we got to do, and it's very simple, is we've got to take the Kentucky money, gambling money, gaming money that is leaving Kentucky in Kentuckians' pockets every day, every night, going to Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and West Virginia. Plus, we take all the national money that's coming into Kentucky Downs down at Franklin, right below Bowling Green. They got 10 times the take of any track in the nation, and we're not getting any of that money. Bring that money in, put it in a constitutional amendment, let the people vote on it. And if they vote on it, the constitutional amendment says this Kentucky money that was going out of state from now on stays at the 5 tracks of Kentucky, the gaming does, and all the money goes forever into the unfunded pension liability, which is $34 billion, and we can't pay it. But we have to, but we can't. It goes into that pension fund. That stream of money stays there forever, and our bucket starts filling up. And then we can fund some of these other programs.
Will T. Scott is the Republican candidate for governor. He faces 3 opponents on May 19th. We're back with our remaining moments in just a bit. Welcome back to Kentucky Newsmakers. Justice Will T. Scott, who just retired from the Kentucky Supreme Court, is now a Republican candidate for governor, and he's continuing our discussion with us. You said you sort of have a vision of what you would like Inauguration Day to be like if you are so fortunate to be elected governor.
Well, I think the people will elect me. I think I will raise my right hand on December the 8th at 1 o'clock. But, Bill, immediately after that, I want to have all my Korean War veterans. They haven't been thanked for their service in 65 years. They never were. All my Vietnam veterans, they haven't been thanked for their service and welcomed home. And that's after 45 years. I want to have them down to the Plaza Parade grounds by the old transportation building. Just as I'm sworn in, I'm going to go down there and get them. And we'll use all the Afghan, Iraqi veterans to help us get the Korean War veterans up, and the Vietnam veterans can't walk. We'll bring them up Capitol Avenue. We'll march them up. I'll have a national figure there on the steps, waiting to welcome us home. Thank us for our service and then dismiss us, and we're home after 61 and 45 years.
You first have to stand out in a Republican primary, and then, of course, would have to win a November election. The other candidates in this Republican race have started sort of to tangle here. They're pushing back against each other. An interest group ran an ad in behalf of Hal Heiner. It criticized the other two candidates. Do you hope to take advantage of their scrapping?
Why would I take advantage of their scrapping? Well, I mean, they can fight over everything they want to. Like I told them at the debate up at Louisville, if they don't mind, I'll just stay out of this. You know, nobody in this race is free like I am. I'm not running to be governor. I'm running to solve problems. So what I tell you about the problems and my solutions, you know, that's why I'm here. Everybody else wants to be governor, but let them scrape, let them fight. I've got game. Nobody's got game like Will T. And we're on the ground out here. We're talking to people, and hey, we may be on there too. They're
all television candidates for sure,
yes,
at this point.
Yes.
You may get there, but can you win this as somebody who's just doing the old-fashioned way?
Well, I thought the old-fashioned way was the way you earn things. You know, you really earn it. And, you know, I may do some other things. I don't necessarily tell everybody what and when I'm going to do it, but, I mean, we're out here at the people, and the people of Kentucky are smarter than we give them credit for. They are discerning, and they can look at people, and they know what they see on a TV ad doesn't necessarily mean it's true. But if they can look at my life and go to willtscott.com and look at my life and say, wow, he really is here to serve. And I think they will.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it very much.
I really appreciate the time.
And we thank you for joining us for this edition of Kentucky Newsmakers on WKYT, and we hope you make it a good week ahead.